بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا وقعت الواقعة ليس لوقعتها كاذبة خافضة رافعة إذا رجت الأرض رجا وبست الجبال بسا فكانت هباء منبثا وكنتم أزواجا ثلاثة فأصحاب الميمنة ما أصحاب الميمنة وأصحاب المشأمة ما أصحاب المشأمة والسابقون السابقون أولئك المقربون في جنات النعيم ثلة من الأولين وثلة من الآخرين وأصحاب الشمال ما أصحاب الشمال صدق الله العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله محمد وآله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Respected brothers and elders, I've been asked to talk about the obedience of the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, it's been such a long time now since the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam companions have departed the world. The Prophet's companions have departed the world approximately 1,430 years ago. But yet we still remember them. We still remember them, we know their names. And you know the most amazing thing is, there's only one of the name of the Prophet's companion mentioned in the Quran. Only one companion. Zayd radiallahu anhu. Only his name is mentioned. All the other companions, none of the name is mentioned. Because the Quran is not the book of names. It doesn't come and give you names of individuals, no. Quran is for the guidance. But Quran has a very comprehensive nature that it will have, because the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not the word of any human being. The Quran is the speech of Allah. So Allah said, radiyallahu anhum wa radu an, that Allah is pleased with all the companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wa radu an, and they are pleased with him. That is sufficient for the virtue of all the companions of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now the word companion, sahabi, is a technical definition, because not everyone is a companion. The companion is the one who met the Prophet Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He met him or stayed with him, with iman, and died with faith. Saw him with faith and he died with faith. Even if it's for 1 second, he is a companion. Now, as long as we have authentic narration that this person is a companion, or any scholars, a reliable scholar, they tell us that he is a companion, then we have to say radiyallahu anhu, may Allah be pleased with him. And his status is better than anyone in the world. Why? Because he's got something that no one else has, which is called suhbah, being in the company of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the companions, we remember them today. We need to ask ourselves, what is it that they did, or they've done, that we remember them with a lot of joy. You know, how many Abu Bakr we met in our community? Umar, Uthman, Ali, Talha, Hamza, and many companions. We name our children because of them. Yet their name not in the Quran, but they've narrated hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The words of the Prophet have been passed on to us via the companions. And that's why we take great joy to name our children after them. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he was passing away, he made a dua to Allah. Ij'alni lisana sidqin fil akhirin. That, oh Allah, when I pass away, Prophet Abraham, I'm going to use some of those names because I've been told, brother, he doesn't understand those Arabic terms, so I'm going to use those terms. Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, before he passed away, he made a supplication. And the supplication was that, Ij'alli lisana sidqin fil akhirin, that my Lord, when I pass away, then keep me in the remembrance, in the righteous tongue of the later generation. I'm going to pass away. I don't want my story to come to an end. I want people to remember me. Everyone wants to be remembered. I want people to remember me. Okay? Allah, the Exalted, accepted his supplication. Today, whenever we prayed our salah, when we pray our salah, after tahiyyat, we say, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad, and then we say, Kama sallayta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim. We remember not only Prophet Abraham, but also his progeny and his family. Because he said, Allah wants people to remember me. Not only that, another meaning of Islam and Muslim is that we've been told that huwa sammakumul muslimin. It is Prophet Abraham who actually named this community the Muslim community. It goes back to Ibrahim alayhi salam. Anyway, so people would like the companions of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They became very successful. They were very successful people because they had something quite amazing, which is that when a commandment of Allah comes to them, or a commandment of the prophets comes to them, then immediately they would get up to do it. They would not wait. They would not ask questions to themselves. They would get up, and the first reaction is that I need to do this. It could be beyond their comprehension, it could be beyond their ability, but they would make the intention to do it. For example, there's a verse in the Quran. فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ is in Surah An-Nisa, okay, chapter 4. The verse goes like this, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ وَلَوْ أَنَّا كَتَبْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ أَنِ اقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. If you were to make it obligatory upon all the companions that you must kill yourselves, أَوْ اخْرُجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ, you must leave your homes and get out of your houses. مَا فَعَلُوهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ مِّنْهُمْ. Only a handful of people would have done this. In other words, Allah saying that this commandment is so tough and so difficult for the people that if Allah were to command that this is the only way you will get the pleasure of Almighty Allah, if you sacrifice yourself, and our nafs is very dearest to us, even the great Umar radiallahu anhu, he came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, Ya Rasulullah, anta ahabbu ilayya min ahli wa min mali. O Prophet of Allah, you are dearest to me than my wealth and my family. Illa nafsi, except for myself. Okay, in the beginning stage. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you also have to say even yourself as well, Umar. La. The Prophet said, no. Umar ibn Khattab, he ruminated for a little while. Now, scholars have a difference of opinion on why he done that. One of the best understanding I've got from a sheikh is that what Umar did, he was actually asking himself, hang on a second, let me take a check. Let me ask myself, is the Prophet of Allah dearest to me than myself? Because I was very quick to say something. Maybe I said it very quickly, but my heart saying otherwise. Let me ask my heart. So he looked down and then he looked up and he said, وَمِن نَفْسِي, and you are dearest to me than my own self, O Prophet of Allah. The Prophet said, Al-an ya Umar, now O Umar. Okay, i.e. now you are a complete believer, or Umar, or now you have spoken the truth. Or another interpretation, now you're saying this, O Umar, because this was how close he was to Umar ibn Khattab. Anyway, so the verse said that no one would have done this. Only a handful of people would have sacrificed themselves or take themselves out of the houses. Abu Bakr, he was in a distance. And this is the companions. Let me picture this. Okay, the verses are revealing to the Prophet of Allah, and the companions are listening to those verses revealing. Okay, so they were very lucky because they could even witness the revelation. When these verses were recited to the companions, Abu Bakr heard this verse and he said, لَوْ أُمِرْنَا لَفَعَلْنَا. If Allah were to command us, we would have done it. Walhamdulillah alladhi afana, but glory be to Allah, praise be to God who has saved us from this. Okay, that's the statement of Abu Bakr. But look what he said here. He said, Oh Allah, if you were to command us to do such a thing, we are ready for it. Now the Prophet of Allah, he was at a distance, he heard the words of Abu Bakr. So he said, Alhamdulillah alladhi ja'ala min ummati rijalan imanuhum athbat min al-jibal al-rawasi. He said, all praise be to Allah who has created such individual in this ummah, rijal, plural. Not only Abu Bakr, there are so many likes of Abu Bakr in terms of being obedient to the commandments of Allah and adhering to the sunnah of the Prophet, the ways of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Straight away the Prophet said that Allah has created so many individuals, so many men, so many individuals, that the faith is so firm than the strongest of mountains. mountain we have here. Okay, the Prophet of Allah drawing parallel. The iman of the companions are like the iman, like the firmness of the mountain. Okay, no matter what happens, if it's thunder or if it's wind, or no matter what happens, the mountain remains there. The iman of the companion is such that no matter what will happen, calamities will come, trials and tribulation will come, they will go through problems, they will stay firm. That's the difference between them and us. Okay, our iman, I say it's like a candle in the wind. If you come from the east, then we move towards the west like that. Which way, whatever the direction comes, we move. Their iman is, on the contrary, is really firm. And the Prophet of Allah gave this testimony. And this is the reason why they were very successful. And this is the reason why we can't forget them. Because they were the first batch, and they have demonstrated everything that we need to know. And that's why Allah said in another verse that, وَلَوْ, that if the people, okay, فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ, if the people were to believe the way you believe, addressing the companions, فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا, they will get hidayah, they will get guidance. Because their iman wasn't the iman of if and but and except, but, none of that. Their iman was pure iman, very sincere, and they came with the intention to act upon. So when they hear something, we need to do it. Take an example of the drinking of alcohol when he was in Medina. You need to understand one thing here though, that the people of Medina, before in the Jahiliyyah era, their best thing they used to have, the best drink they used to have, is something called Nabid al-Tamar. Okay, it's the extracts of dates, because dates are dominantly available in Makkah and Medina. They used to have this a lot. They used to get drunk. Okay, they used to enjoy it. It gives you strength and etc. They used to say, so they used to love it. Okay, and they used to continue. Even after some of them have accepted Islam, they were still drinking because no prohibition came. One of the verse was telling that it's best not to drink. Okay, for example, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ. They ask you about alcohol and gambling. قُلْ فِيهِمَا إِثْمٌ كَبِيرٌ. Tell them that there's a big sin there, doing that. وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ. But there are benefits as well. وَإِثْمُهُمَا أَكْبَرُ مِنْ نَفْعِهِمَا. But the sins are greater than its benefit. Okay? Some companions, they still have the bad habit because they've been doing this all their life. They said that we're still not prohibiting though. So they still was continue to drink it. Okay? They were so used to it. When they came to Medina, they found alcohol in greater number. Now Medina is known for dates. Those of you who went to Medina, as soon as you enter Medina, all you see is palm trees. Medina is everywhere is available, okay? And everyone they used to make this. The morning tea and coffee that we have was liquor. You wake up and you have this. Okay? And their way they used to address as well to each other is عِمُوا صَبَاحًا. May your drinking be very good. And عِمُوا استباحًا. May your drinking be gives you energy. They used to address like that. Good morning and good evening was like this. Like, did you have good tea today? Did you have good coffee? He's saying that, how was your beer today, for example? How was your liquor today? That's how they used to stay in this. It's very important to understand the whole transformation, how they change. But the verse came down this time in absolute clear, saying that you can't drink anymore. And the verse, at the end, he finished like that. فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُنْتَهُونَ. Are you going to stop now? I mean, you had all these chances to slowly to give up, okay? But now is the time Allah is testing them. That's it. Are you going to stop now? When this verse was revealed, Allah saying that you cannot drink alcohol anymore, it's haram, it's forbidden, you can't even have a single drop anymore. Khalas, that's the stop. Allah even asked them, فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُنْتَهُونَ. Are you going to stop? The people of Medina came out of the houses saying, Intahayna, Intahayna. We have stopped, we have stopped. That's obedience. It's not easy. Someone could have said that, maybe there's some, the Quran is a hurrima. They didn't say it's haram. Quran said, are you going to stop? They just given us a view. They could have played all this game, is it? It's that companions we're talking about. They don't understand Iman like that. And that is the correct way. That's the reason why they were successful. Now, Umar ibn Khattab is a big man. He came back, and although he wasn't drinking alcohol, but he was always in doubt about this. He came out and he said, Intahayna, so loud that everyone heard him. Okay, and the narrator of the hadith says something really amazing. He said that everyone, they had, pots of liquor in the house. When this verse revealed, they began to break it. Okay, so much that the wine were coming out of the houses that if you were to go to Medina, you would have thought there's a river going around. That was the iman of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, that the verses comes, first thing they would do that we're going to act upon it. We're going to do straight away. There's no time for debate. That's the reason why they were so successful. Another example that I give is once the companions were in Mecca, obviously they were facing the Kaaba. They used to face the Qibla, the Kaaba in Mecca, okay? And they used to pray the Salah. But the Qibla wasn't the Kaaba at that time, in the beginning of Islam. It was Jerusalem, Palestine. And that's why Palestine is a sanctified zone and a holy place according to the Muslims, as well as the Christians and the Jews. Now, they were, praying towards the direction of Jerusalem. But the Prophet of Allah used to stand such a way, he used to stand in between Hajar Aswad, the black stone, and Rukn al-Yamani. Okay? So he was facing the Qibla, the Kaaba, and also Jerusalem as well. But when he came to Medina, he couldn't do that. Because Medina now, as you know, that is further up. So it's difficult, it's not going to turn around. So the Qibla is straight towards the north. Now, for 17 months, approximately 16 to 17 months, they prayed toward the direction. But the Prophet, he wanted the Qibla to change. But the Muslims were fine, because in Medina there were a lot of Jews there were a lot of Christians there as well. And everyone, they thought, the Prophet is inviting towards God, but he respects the religion of Christianity and Judaism because they also have a common direction of prayer. But when that revelation came, a lot of people had a lot of questions, what happened here, etc. The companions, on the contrary, the revelation came straight away, immediately, without any question. Oh, Prophet of Allah, how? Why? Why did the Qibla change? How come? What happened? Are we turning away from the Qibla of Ibrahim, and because Ibrahim used to live there? Are we turning away from all this? No question, nothing. Straight away they prayed towards the direction of the Qibla. People of Quba, now Masjid Nabawi, the Prophet's Masjid, and Quba is in the distance of about 3.5 miles to 4 miles. Okay? Nowadays you could get there in 5 minutes or 10 minutes maximum. Yeah? But in the olden days it take about 3 hours to get there because their traveling was very difficult, mountains and valleys and etc. you need to cross, and the traveling is to buy donkeys and camels, etc. It's very difficult. So when a message is to come, when the revelation is to come, to get to those areas takes time. So the people of Quba, they're already praying the Salat al-Asr, the Asr prayer. Revelation came in Dhahr that the Qibla direction has changed, but they're still praying in the old direction. Okay? So they've already prayed 2 rakat Salah. When they prayed the 2 rakat Salah, the 2 rakat prayer, someone came and made an announcement that I am a companion of the Messenger of Allah. I just prayed our Salah towards the direction, Salatul Dhuhr in the direction of the Kaaba, not Jerusalem. These people, they could have finished their Salah because the Imam, if you turn around 380 degrees, the Imam is going to be at the back, isn't it? Yeah? So, and then what's going to happen? You need an Imam of Salah. But everyone, without any announcement, from this you can understand how the nature and Iman of the companion was. When they heard this, they said, oh, that's the commandment of Allah. That فَوَلِّ is a command. فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطَرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. Turn your face toward the direction of the Qibla. They turn. It is like, it's like a robot, for example, yeah? A commandment comes, turn right, you turn right, it's like that. The commandment came, turn towards the Qibla, they all turn. They forgot there's an Imam here. The Imam turned as well. Then he realized, hang on a second, I'm at the back, so he walked right at the front. Okay? They prayed 2 rakat towards Jerusalem and 2 rakat towards the new Qibla, towards the direction of the Kaaba. When I read this hadith, I asked my teacher the question, I said, this is really amazing. First of all, why would they do this for? Why couldn't they finish their Salah and then pray the Maghrib Salah? Because you're not obliged to pray half towards there and half towards that. By the way, the area where this incident took place, this area is preserved today, even today. And this masjid is called Masjidul Qiblatain. And you can't even, it's a piece of history. You can't even reject this. Okay, you go to Medina now, and that area is known, the masjid with 2 Qibla. These are the only people, no one else, these are the only people on this piece of earth. They pray 2 rakat towards Jerusalem and 2 rakat towards the new Kaaba, Al-Kaaba Al-Sharifa, okay, in one Salah. No one has ever done this, okay, and that's why it was called Masjid with the 2 Qibla. Yeah, before, and the masjid is still preserved, you could go and see it as well. Anyway, so I said to my teacher that they could have finished their Salah, and then from Maghrib Salah, then they could have done this. And that's the way to do it actually, because you need to finish your Salah. He said straight away, he said, you don't understand. The companions of the Messenger of Allah is that as soon as they hear something, they have to do it. And the question will come after. Have I done it right? Ours is before, isn't it? Yeah, but do we have to do this 1 year? But in the 21st century, and we live in Hackney, and that's different, okay? They done it because that was the only available thing. We have something better. So all this question comes in, not the companions. They will do it, and there was a Prophet of Allah, we've done this. Is that okay? Do we have to repeat our salah? He said, no. In fact, Allah is praising you because of that. That was the reason why. And this is, when you talk about the word obedience, no dictionary could explain the obedience of the companions of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No dictionary could do this one. Another example I gave is that the Prophet of Allah, he used to write letters to the kings. Otherwise, if he don't write letters to the kings, he was addressing them to come to Islam. So he wrote a letter to the king of Persia. Okay? He wrote a letter to Caesar at that time, Caesar of Rome. Yeah? He wrote a letter to Najashi of Ethiopia. He wrote a letter to Muqawqis from Egypt, from the Coptic of Egypt. He wrote letters to all of them. And the companions went with his message to all of them. Yeah? But the letter, before he was writing was, remember the Prophet is unlettered, he can't read or write. But there was companions that could read and write. So he told them to write it, and he wrote the letter. So they said, O Prophet of Allah, no king, no ruler accept the letter unless it's stamped. So I think we should make you a ring. He said, okay, make me a ring. They made him a ring, and the ring they made was a gold ring. They're going to give something cheap to the Prophet. So they gave something very nice. At that time, for the men to wear gold was permissible. At that beginning time. The Prophet, he made one, and he only had it because of the reason so he could stamp it. But the companion, they saw the Prophet's got a ring. They want to copy him in everything that he does. That's the nature. The Prophet's got a ring, they made some rings as well. Some made it from gold, some made it from silver, some, according to whatever the capacity and capability, they made some ring. Once the Prophet of Allah was in the masjid, or he was walking, and suddenly the revelation, because the Prophet of Allah gets a lot of various ways of getting revelation. Okay, I don't have no time. There are 7 ways of getting revelation. Okay, we only remember one. Okay, when Jibril came in his original form or a form of a man, but there are other 5 ways as well. So one of the ways is inspiration. So the Prophet of Allah was told that he's not allowed to wear gold ring. So he took it out and he threw it. The companion, they saw the Prophet of Allah taking the ring out and throwing it. They took it out, they threw it as well. We're talking about gold here, brothers. Okay? If I were to tell you that gold is not permissible for the men, and it's true, gold is not permissible for the men, and you're wearing it, you're not going to take it out and chuck it here. Okay, you're going to take it out, maybe inshallah, obviously you didn't know. If you don't know, you'll take it out, because we're not allowed to wear it. Every second we wear it, we're doing an act of sin. You'll take it out, we'll put it in your pocket. Because if you go to Green Street and exchange it, you get a lot of money for gold nowadays, yeah? You will do that, and that's nothing wrong with that in Sharia. There's nothing wrong with that one. That's okay, it's permissible to do that. But the companions, to them, it's not permissible. Why? The Prophet of Allah is throwing something, and he didn't say anything to us. Anyway, the Prophet of Allah saw so many people throwing the gold. He said, what are you all doing? What are you doing? Stop, what are you doing? He said, O Prophet of Allah, you threw your ring away. He said, I threw it because I've been told. I never tell you to. I haven't told you yet. He said, O Prophet of Allah, how is it that we see you throwing something away and we still keep it? That is not something that we could do. That is obedience to the highest level that we could understand. And this is the reason, again, I said to you, another Sahabi, by the way, the Prophet of Allah saw him, he probably missed that gathering, okay, because the Sahaba, they were scattered everywhere in Medina, and many people are coming into Islam every day. Everyone accepting Islam every single day. It's a new experience for people. So he saw someone wearing a gold ring. So the Prophet of Allah said, looks like you have a flame from the fire of hell, or you have a burning wood, a coil from the fire of hell. You're not wearing a ring. That's very harsh. So what he did, he took it off, and he said, I don't want to have a burning wood from the fire of hell. He chucked it. Someone else picked it up. Because gold at the end of the day, okay, it's always been precious in the past, present, and it will. He picked it up, he brought it to him. He said, look, give it to your wife. It's permissible for the women. He said, is that the same gold that I threw it away? He said, why did you pick it up for? He said, because you could do all that. He said, the Prophet of Allah told me, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that I'm wearing something that is not permissible. I have nothing to do with it anymore. That's Iman. Despite the fact poverty was dominant at that time. They were very poor, the companions. This could be their livelihood. But they give preference to the words of the Messenger of Allah. And they rely totally onto Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them victorious. Not only victorious, subhanallah, gold and everything came in front of them later on. If you remember, when the Prophet of Allah when he was migrating from Mecca to Medina, it was such a difficult time. Migrating at that time was so hard because he was like a fugitive. He's the wanted man, everyone is looking for him. And the Quraysh, they made an announcement, if anyone brings us Muhammad dead or alive, and Abu Bakr, okay, or just Muhammad himself, will give them 100 camels. 100 camels is like our time saying 100 BMW, for example. So everyone went for it. Yeah, but no one found the Prophet ﷺ, because the Prophet of Allah, obviously he's the messenger, he was very intelligent as well. What he did, he went to a cave and he hid there for 3 days. How many days are you going to be looking for in the desert? After 3 days, everyone's going to calm down, go back. So the Prophet of Allah, he stayed there for 3 days. They all looked around, got fed up, tired, came back. And then the Prophet of Allah, in the night, he used to travel. In the day, they used to sleep in the cave, and in the night, they used to travel. They began to travel. So he was traveling, but there was one man, he was an expert when it comes to archaeology, when it comes to recognizing footsteps and etc. He was very knowledgeable. He realized that I will find him. Okay, so he head towards, and he also knew that the Prophet is not going to take the normal route. He's going to take unprecedented route, which will be very difficult to travel because no one ever traveled that way. So you have to basically make way. So he went more towards the shore of the Red Sea, and he found him. His guts told him when he found him. Okay, it's a very long story. Anyway, this Sahabi, this person, he saw, but he wanted to attack the Prophet ﷺ, but his horse is not moving towards it. So he's tried a second time, but the horse doesn't go forward. So he realized that there's something wrong here. He hit the horse again, but it's not moving forward. He turned the horse around towards Mecca, the horse was moving back. He said, there's something wrong here. Then he took his arrow out. They used to have, in the Jahiliyyah, they used to have all sort of superstitions and funny things. He took an arrow out. And in the arrow is written there, and the arrow is to have two things. If you said na'am, it means yes, la means no. So he took an arrow out. If the arrow says yes, then I'm going to go forward. If the arrow says no, then I shouldn't go forward. So he took an arrow out. The arrow said la. He said, rubbish, let's try another one. Took another one out. He said la. He said, let me try another one. Third time looking. Three times said la, doesn't go. Then he realized that his man is a very special person. There's something about him. He's getting help from above. Okay, so he made this announcement. Muhammad, allow me to come forward. See what he's saying here? Allow me to come forward. I will do you no harm. The Prophet said, come forward. Now this horse is moving. Okay, do you understand? He checked his arrow. He said, nah, go. Okay, everything's fine now. He came forward. And then the Prophet said, if you keep my matter safe, yeah, then you're free to go. He said, okay, but can you write it down for me in a piece of paper? That you, Muhammad, because he knew there's something about to happen here. He has experienced it personally. Can you write it down on a piece of paper that you, Muhammad, is giving me, protection? I want to keep that. The Prophet ﷺ told Abu Bakr, the Prophet can't write. He said, Abu Bakr, write it down. Abu Bakr took a pen and he wrote it down. That the Prophet ﷺ is granting him protection. Now, he loses 100 camels here though. How could he give up that? So he said, when he was going, the Prophet knew this one. He said, listen, so what? He said, Suraqa. He was named Suraqa. Suraqa, I said, yeah. He said, if you were to live long, and when the Prophet said, if you were to live long, it is like another way saying that you will live long. Okay? He said, if you were to live long, you will see the booty of Persia in front of you. Okay? And the Prophet said, and you will have the bangles of Kisra ibn Hurmuz. The Persian Empire, he used to sit on his throne like that. And that he used to sit on his throne like this, okay, on his chair. And the throne that he used to wear, so the crown that he used to wear, it was so heavy that if he puts it on his head cannot bear it. It's so heavy. It's made of gold. So they used to have a chain coming from the roof. Okay, so when he used to sit down, the chain is holding, but he just used to go inside it. That much gold was covering. Yeah? And he used to wear bangles like that. When he used to sit on his throne, he used to have gold like that. He used to put it in his hand like that. This tells you how rich they were. They had all that. So he used to sit like this. The Prophet said, those bangles that he wears, I'll give it to you. The Prophet saying at a time when he's a fugitive, he's got nothing with him, he's a wanted man. People are looking for him, yeah? And he is saying that I'm going to give you all that from Persia, where Arabs haven't been there yet. They haven't even gone there. When they hear the name of Persia, they're scared because Persians were very skillful fighters. Everyone should know that. You can't fight them. They used to, even the Romans were scared of them. Romans were defeated by them, as you know. And they had more lands, everything. And they used to have all the latest weapons because that's all they used to do. They used to enjoy fighting with people. And yet the Prophet said, I'm going to get you all that. But he believed in me. He said, there's something about this person. He said, okay, can you write that down as well for me? Something's going to get later on. This is the Prophet ﷺ. And anyway, what happened was when he came back to Mecca, they asked him, have you seen anyone? I haven't seen anyone. You haven't seen anyone? He said, no. Then he said, you know what, you guys forget it. Someone was going toward the same direction. He said, where you go? He said, I've been from this direction. There's no one there. Just go back. Okay? Al-harbu khud'a. You're allowed to do that. Let him go. Okay. The Prophet of Allah passed away. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This person became Muslim. Okay? Suraqa, he saw something amazing. He became Muslim. Not because he forgot about all this. He became Muslim and he forgot everything about it. Abu Bakr became the Khalifa. Radiallahu anhu. Abu Bakr passed away. Again, Persia is still in the hand of the Persian. Muslim hasn't even gone there. They went there, they couldn't do anything. Then Umar became Khalifa. He sent someone towards Persia. Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, radiallahu anhu, very early he accepted Islam. Some say he was the 4th or 5th or 6th to accept Islam. He went towards there. He was the Amir. Okay? Long story to cut it short. Okay? The Muslims were victorious. They defeated. Suraqa still lived. He was still an old man. Okay? He came back. And all the gold and everything was put in front of Umar ibn Khattab. Umar, he looked around and it's like the whole area, the vicinity outside the Masjid Nabawi is basically packed with gold and all the war booty. No one knows what has happened. Suddenly Umar got up. He said, is Suraqa here? Afikum Suraqa? Is Suraqa here? At the back, an old man got up. He said, yeah, I'm Suraqa. What do you want? He said, come forward. He came forward. Umar grabbed the bangles and he said, this is yours. I've been told to reserve it for you. He took it. He still hasn't understood. He couldn't comprehend that. What's happening here? He said, then Umar said, don't you remember? He said, no. He said, the Prophet was going towards Medina. You stopped him and you thought you're losing out here. And the Prophet promised that he's going to give you. He said, oh, that was such a long time ago. And he just fell down, could not believe what has happened here. Obviously, no one else, this is his, he gave it to him. Okay. This is the words of the companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he gave it to him, and he took. He didn't want this, but the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam were so powerful to him that it just shook him. These are the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Umar, how do you remember this one? He said, Umar, the Muslim, they need all of this wealth. He could have said that, forget it, a long time ago, you forgot, etc. No, he preserved this, he remembered this, that no Prophet told him. And he remembered this, and he was waiting for that day. And I'm sure if Abu Bakr if Abu Bakr was alive, he would have done the same thing. Every companion would have done this. If the Prophet tells me to do something, I have to do it. I can't forget. And he remembered this. That's the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a nutshell, brothers. Some of the companions, they had a bad habit of swearing. And I say this because we have a lot of bad habits as well. Okay, we have play a football game. You'll see how many all the righteous and pious brothers. What kind of words comes out from them? Play a game of football, and you'll see and F and B and S. These are all it's a bad habit. We all know it as well, but it comes out. Okay, and the Prophet ﷺ, he didn't like that because his characteristic, his conduct, he was a man that ma kana fahishan wala mutafahishan. He was a man that he wasn't abusive, he wasn't foul mouth. He would not swear at anyone, no matter what happened. No bad words comes out from him. Even before Islam, people used to have this habit of shouting and swearing in the market. Yeah, they used to shout and scream. The Prophet wasn't like that because he was a businessman. He was a trader, but he never used to shout like that. وَلَا صَخَّابًا فِي الْأَسْوَاقِ. The Prophet wasn't a man who would shout foul mouth or scream in the market. He was like that. So he didn't like it. Some of his companions were like, they used to swear and they were very abusive to, because they had this bad habit. And the Prophet of Allah wanted to eradicate all that, to remove it. So a man came and he said, oh Prophet of Allah, give me some good advice. Another amazing thing about Prophet Muhammad is that whenever people used to come and ask him for advice, he used to advise them according to what they need at that time. So he's not going to give something general. That someone is praying 5 times a prayer. He goes, can you give me some advice? He said, pray 5 times. is irrelevant to him because he's praying 5 times, yeah? Despite the fact there were thousands of companions in Medina, yet the Prophet, peace be upon him, he knew every single companion, what they lack, what they're missing, what they need, etc. He was such a teacher, amazing teacher. He knew who's in need of what. That's why you read a hadith. Okay, the question is one question: Ayyul a'mali afdal? Which deed is the best of all deeds? The Prophet said, for you not to get angry. Another person said the same question. He said, be obedient to your parents. Another one said, pray salah in the first time. He said, what? He said, you need to go in the battlefield and do jihad. What about? Everyone is different. Same question, different answers. Because what they're missing, the Prophet is telling them. So a person came and he said, oh, Prophet Allah, can you tell me something? He said, don't get angry. He said, okay, that's it. From now on, I'm never going to get angry. Another person came, and this is amazing. The Prophet said, لا تسبن أحدا. Do not swear at anyone. Don't use don't be foul mouth. Don't be abusive. He said, the moment the Prophet of Allah said, I realized that I need to hear that. Sometimes you hear something, it's been really disturbing, and suddenly you hear it. And he said, you know what? I was looking for that. So this kind of thing happened to him. He said, the thing is, he heard it from the Prophet ﷺ, straight away put it into practice. He said, from that very moment, I decided and I realized that I'm not going to swear at anyone. He said, فَمَا سَبَبْتُ بَعْدَهُ أَحَدًا. From that very day, I did not swear at anyone. It's not finished here. He said, وَلَا شَاتًا وَلَا بَعِيرًا. I did not even swear to my animals as well. Okay, when you have animals, when you are riding a donkey, you can say stuff, move it, and stuff like that. You have to, because that's the only way animals, we think they move. Okay, or you're going to hit your camel sometime, and etc. He said, when I heard the Prophet of Allah saying that, I did not even swear or even said anything bad to my camels, my goats, nothing. This is a difficult thing to do. But they realized that this is the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the first part that I would like to say is that the obedience of the companions were different. Second part is that if they were to see someone disobeying the Prophet's commandment or turning away from the sunnah of the Prophet, they used to get very upset. You don't want to be there. If someone is disrespecting the Prophet's sunnah or the words of the Prophet in front of another companion, believe me, you don't want to be there, no matter who you are. They would change straight away. A Sahabi came home. When he came home, and he was teaching, I can't exactly remember, but he said that, whenever they used to hear a hadith, they should narrate to one another. He said, I heard the hadith of the Prophet, Messenger of Allah, he said something, that إِذَا اسْتَأْذَنَتْ أَحَدَكُمْ إِمْرَأَتُهُ الْمَسْجِدِ. When any of your women ask you to come to the masjid, فَلَا يَمْنَعْهُنَّ. He should not stop them coming to the masjid. Abdullah bin Umar, this is the son of Umar. Abdullah, he said this. Now, Abdullah, he had his own son. He named him Bilal. Amazing, isn't it? Bilal, okay, he was a slave, Abyssinian slave. But he became Muslim, he became dearest to the Prophet. Okay, despite the fact he was a slave and he was a black, okay, because the Arab, they used to look down on them, yeah. Yet, one of the greatest Sahabi, he named his own child by his name, Bilal. Because this is what Islam does to you. This kind of equality that you get, you will not see it anywhere else. He named his son, he's an Arab, Abdullah. He's an Arab by lineage, by everything. He comes from the most highest and elite tribe called Makhzum, Banu Adi, very high status. But he named his son Bilal because he's the muaddin of the Prophet ﷺ. Anyway, so Bilal said, listen, I think we should stop them. He had an opinion because people have changed, the women have changed. Now look at the way they dress and look at and etc. I think we should stop them. But what happened here was a problem. He's saying that the Prophet said, do not stop, and he's saying that we shall stop, is contradicting the words of the Prophet. In his apparent nature, he was very upset. He said, what did you just say? أُحَدِّثُكَ عَنْ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. I am narrating you a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. Here you cannot doubt if the hadith is authentic or not, because Sahabi heard it directly. There is no middleman. There's no need for research. He heard it. There's nothing else. I'm telling you, I heard from the Prophet of Allah this, and you're telling me that you will do it? You will, on the contrary, to the opposite? لَا أُكَلِّمُكَ أَبَدًا. Go away from here. You are my son, but I'm not going to speak to you anymore. He never spoke to him the rest of his life. Why? Because this is called bughdu fillah. You love for the sake of Allah, you hate for the sake of Allah. He was very upset at him. His son, obviously he was so, that kind of reprimand when he got it, he was very upset, etc. He asked for forgiveness, but this is Abdullah, because he saw this one, he saw something he didn't like. As another Sahabi, he was basically, because in Medina they were farmers, they used to do a lot of agricultural work, the people of Medina, because it's a very fertile area. Makkah is difficult, Medina they have this. So he was doing some work in the field. So the water was coming, okay? And then after his field, there was another field. So after water comes to him, then the water will go to the other person, because they take the water out from the well. So he was doing something. He was waiting for the water. He was waiting for the water to, he went to water his land of area. So another person came, he said, "Oh Prophet of Allah, tell him I need the water." He said, the Prophet said, "Let him finish." The Prophet ﷺ said, "If the water reaches this mark, then cut a little bit of the alley, so the water will go to the next person's field." Okay? Fair? So this person said, "Oh, I think he's related to you, Prophet. He's related to you, isn't it? That's why you're favoring him." Okay, that's what he said. Now the Prophet ﷺ, فَتَلَوَّنْ وَجْهُهُ, his color of his face changed. Because the Prophet of Allah is here to establish justice, and this person has accused him of something else. The Prophet of Allah said, "You know what? Not this line. Let the water, fill your whole land, whole area, and then it goes, overflows the alley, and then let it go." Because he was disrespect to the Prophet of Allah. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet of Allah to be harsh to him. Okay? And then a verse was revealed. And this is an amazing verse. With this verse we'll understand, and that's a summary of the speech today. The verse was revealed is the one that I started my speech with. فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. By your Lord, they would not become true believers. No one will become true believers. فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ, until they make you hakam, make you the judge. فِيمَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُم, for all the argument that has occurred amongst themselves. Any sort of arguments happen between them, they need to come to you. If they have any difference of opinion, they need to come to you. If they have any argument, they need to come to you. If they have any problems, they need to come to you. And you are the one who's going to decide what's right, what's wrong. That's the verse was revealed. فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Don't think this verse is only for them, it's for us as well. Whenever we have any difference of opinion, etc., we need to look at the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. What did he say? What did he say? So the Quran said, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ, until they make you hakam, until they make you judge. And the verse doesn't finish yet. حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِي مَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا. And after whatever you have made any judgment, they should not find any sort of ill feeling, any sort of problems in your decision. They need to, the Prophet of Allah said, sometimes it could be for you, sometimes it could be against you, but you need to say that, what, the Prophet of Allah decided, I have no haraj, I don't find any defects, I don't find any problems, I'm ready to accept whatever he says. And the third thing Allah said, وَيُسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا, and they surrender to your commandments in totality. This is the reason why, respected brothers and elders, that the companions of Rasulullah, they were so successful that we can't take the names away from the tongue. We have to mention them, we have to talk about them. Why? Because their obedience was to a level that history will fail to give us any example than these companions of Rasulullah. Commandments came, they done it. Commandment came, and they've done it. This is the obedience of the companions of Rasulullah. We need to ask ourselves what sort of obedience that we have. What kind of obedience that we have? We want to obey the Prophet of Allah. We want to do ita'ah of Allah and His Messenger. How are we going to do it? That is something that we need to learn. And we're not going to find any examples in anyone else's life, except when we look in the hayat al-sahaba, the lives of the companions of Rasulullah. And believe me, if any of the companions were alive today, because a lot of people, they would think that, they were people of the desert, If any one of the companions were to alive today, then we would have seen a better world than we are watching. We would have seen a better world. If any one companion, pick anyone you want. Okay? Pick anyone. It doesn't have to be Abu Bakr. It doesn't have to be pick any. He's a companion, yeah, pick him like that. Yeah, and he were to be here today, the world would have been a different place. And I'll give you one example for that. Do I have time for this? Yeah. Final example. At the time of going back to Qadisiyah, Battle of the Qadisiyah, same thing happened. Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas was asked that he needs to choose someone who will go and have a negotiate with Rustum, the leader of the Persia, so the battle comes to an end. That's the most critical point. Before a battle starts, a very important, you send someone there. When you will send someone there, okay, he will come with some proposals, okay, some negotiation will take place, and the battle will come to an end. Okay, Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, he looked around. First of all, he should have gone himself. When I read this, I said he should have gone, because you know who Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas is? As I said to you, he's one of the 5th or 6th to accept Islam. He himself used to say that, Ana Rubu al-Islam, I'm the 4th to accept Islam. Because he thought, because those days, people used to keep their iman in secret. So he thought he's the 4th to accept Islam. Anyway, or the thuluth, I can't remember the 3rd. But actually he wasn't, but he thought he was. So this is how early he accepted Islam. And he's the only Sahabi that the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had taken, has swore. But he said that the Prophet said, "Irmi fidaka abi wa ummi." He said, "Sa'ad, throw arrows at the disbelievers. May my father and my mother be sacrificed for you." Such was his reputation in the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used to praise him like that. The Prophet didn't say to Abu Bakr like that, "May my parents be sacrificed for you." He didn't say to Umar like that, "May my parents be sacrificed for you." Or to anyone else. He said to Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas. That tells you his position. So he could have gone because he was very intelligent. You know what Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas did? He picked randomly someone. He said, "Okay, you go." Why? So that we could learn something in the 21st century. We could learn something that every companion, if they were to be alive today, they would have ruled, and they would have bring peace and tranquility to the community which we are lacking. They would have established justice. Bangladesh would have been a better place. India and Pakistan would have been a better place. Syria would have been a better place. And other Muslim countries that we are seeing would be a better place. One Sahabi, he would have made that change. So he went, and the person who chose, by the way, he narrated no hadith, no one even know him. We have so many books of hadith, Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nasai, Ibn Majah, so many books, Mu'atta, okay, Dara Qutni, and Mustad Ahmad, many books of hadith here. He narrated no hadith, nothing, this Sahabi. But he's a Sahabi. Okay, what do we know about him? All we know is the Sahabi of the Prophet, and he was a Bedouin. Nothing else we know. He brought up in the desert. No education, nothing. He didn't go to any college, university, no certificates. But he is the companion of Rasulullah. He spent some time with the Prophet. That's it. So he said, "You want me to go?" He said, "Yeah." He went. They offered him a chair, told him to sit there. He looked around. The chair was made of gold. He said, "I'm not going to sit there." He said, "Hey, it's our hospitality." He said, "Yeah, but gold we don't benefit from. Men, we don't use it." He said, "Okay." He sat on the floor. Rustum spoke to him. He said, "Why are you here?" He said, "I didn't come here." Why are you here? You have to give an answer. He said, "I didn't come here." He was speaking like that. Such conviction. You have to first of all, you have to understand, you go to someone else's zone. You go to the territory of the enemy. You're in the enemy's territory now. Okay? You don't come back alive like that. There's no one there to support you. Everyone is staring at you. Everyone has got their swords and everything. You are one man, okay? That itself will give you goosebumps. But he is talking with such conviction. He said, "I didn't come here. I did not come here." He said, "You are here." He said, "Allah ibta'athana. Allah has sent me to you." He wants to give him da'wah, you see. They were men of Iman. Iman was on his tongue. He said, "And why would your Lord," you know how they were, "Why would your Lord send you Arab to come here into this place of Persia? Why would you come to our land?" So he looked around and he saw people are paying respect to this guy. Okay, they all got this, the staff on the hand and the sword, and they're all standing, and it's been aching because that's their job. They need to stand in front of this guy from 9 till 5, so it's a very difficult thing to do. He looked around. Spontaneously he said, لِنُخْرِجَ الْعِبَادِ مِنْ عِبَادَةِ الْعِبَادِ إِلَىٰ عِبَادَةِ اللَّهِ وَحْدَهُ. He says, so that Allah has sent us to come to you to take the slaves from the slavery of the slaves to the slavery of the Lord of the slaves. What does that mean? He said, look around, these people are doing slavery of another slave who is the slave of Allah. We are not slaves of any human being. We are slaves of Allah. He tells us what to do. We listen to Him. He tells us to bow down, we bow down. He tells us that the most precious parts of our body is the forehead. We put it down in front of Him, not to anyone else. You people are slaves. Look at you. But you are wasting your time because you are all slaves of another person who is the slave himself. So we are here to give you a new meaning to life. Okay, and these people who were standing there looking around, saying, hey, he's talking the truth, he's saying something right. He caused a chaos amongst them as well. Yeah, and then he said something really amazing. He said, وَمِن ضِيقِ الدُّنْيَا إِلَى سَاعَتِهَا We have been sent by the Prophet of Allah or by Allah to come to you, to take you out from the narrowness of this world to its vastness. You people have a very narrow understanding of life. We're going to eat, drink, sleep, do the job and die. Say La ilaha illallah, Allah will give you a new meaning. You would not find it anywhere else. No education will give you. You have to become Muslim first. Become Muslim, say La ilaha illallah, practice what Allah is telling you. You will get knowledge from above. It's directly will be coming to you. That knowledge you won't get it from anyone else. When he left this room, first of all, Rustum, this is the first time he was speechless. No one has made him quiet like that. When he left the room, everyone was talking, and he said, this Arabi, this Bedouin, has shaken the throne of Rustum. They were always saying that. And then even later on, they said that we still could hear the words of that Bedouin who came in. We could still hear the words. So what do we learn from this? By the way, the very next day the battle took place, and etc. And I think 2 or 3 days later, Persia came to an end. Okay? And it became a Muslim land till today. Okay? Nowadays, Iraq and Iran is all Persia. That's what happened. Anyway, and ordinarily, the reason I mentioned this, I just want to tell you that you pick any companions of the Messenger of Allah, okay? You don't have to tell them what's happening in the world. Allah will tell them automatically. Why? Going back to the very first point, which was they obeyed Allah, they feared Allah, and everything and everyone else feared them. May Allah give us all the ability to remember those beautiful names of the companions, and remember they were the companions and students of Messenger of Allah, and this is why they were successful. May Allah give us the ability to respect them, and may Allah give us the ability to respect the words of the Prophet ﷺ. May Allah give us the ability to follow the commandments and adhere to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. With this I will end. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر